talked about these loops for each loop, and we use the break and the continuous statement. Okay. So today we are going to start on using user-defined methods or functions. Right. So a function in PHP would have the syntax like this. Say the name of the function. We just say function and we have a name for the function. And if there are any arguments, we write in this parenthesis, and between this we have the statement that we want to execute. So this is how a function structure would look like in PHP. And after that, when you want to call this function, we just call it by the name. If there are any arguments, we just use the argument here. Okay. If the function does not have any arguments, we can just it does not have any argument, we can just write the brackets like this, and when calling it, we can just call it just like that. Okay. So this is how a basic function looks like in PHP. So we will try to write a function. See, let's say have a function called okay, and in this I will just say hello. And if I try to run this, nothing will happen because we haven't called the function yet. Only when you call the function will be executed. So I will say say hello. Because there are no arguments, I'm not going to write anything inside this because I don't take any arguments. So this will just display hello. Right? So this is the basic function that we can have. Okay. Let's say I need to have a function which is going to take an argument. So what I do is, if I want to go to the next line, I can always use the BR tag here. Okay, I can always use the BR tag, but I will have to use it with a slash. Okay, something like this. Then it will go to the next line automatically. Okay. So let's say I have a function. It says hello. That is the name of the function, and this is going to take an argument of a name. I just say it's a name. Okay, and echo the word hello and concatenate it with the name variable. Okay, so it is write up the name that we want, and after that I can use a BR. I'm going to call this function as well. Say hello, and it's going to take an argument. I will put a string there. What can we see if this works? Oops, there's an error. Which line do we have? This line 12. Try this. Oh, what's that there? So my name is coming when I type this. Name will be. After that, I can always say go to the next line. Let's have another function which is going to take the argument again. And if you want to include something in a string, this is one way of doing it. I will say hello to. Okay, in this, I will say echo hello space with a curly bracket. I can say color name. Okay, so I can use the dot operator, and I can also use this method to do the same thing. I call this hello to with a string. Okay.
Sir, BR semicolon.
Oh, all right. So all three will be here. So these are two methods of concatenating two strings. So I can just say inside the inverted commas itself, I can use the curly bracket and use the variable name, or else if I want to use, okay, and we can see we can either use this method to use go to the next line, or we can use a BR separately to go to the next line. Okay, fine. So are you getting the output correctly?
Yeah, sir. Getting.
Very good. Okay. I'll give you a small work. We have a function here. Let's say we are going to get a function to get two arguments. Okay. Two argument function. Let's say take the very simple one of adding two numbers. I'll say num1 and num2. And I would say so is equal to num1 plus 2 equal to. So this is going to take up two integers. So when I call this adding function, I can give two integers like 15 and 3. So I should be getting addition of those two numbers as the answer. Okay, so I can give an argument. We don't define the argument whether it's a string or an integer. It will automatically identify whatever the input that we are giving from the argument. It will take it as the data type of that variable. Okay, so num1 and num2, I did not say whether it's a string or a integer or whatever. But when I give the value 15 and 18, automatically it will convert that into a string and it will convert that into an integer variable and do the addition in this one in the function. Okay, can you type this one as well? The next thing that we are going to look at is the return value. In functions, usually, I told you in what do you call subprograms. There are subprograms which is going to return a value, and there are subprograms which is not going to return any value. All this time we were looking at subprograms which does not return any value. Okay. Now in the same program, if I say instead of echo, I will say return the total. So when I'm calling the function, I can't just say adding. I have to have a variable to take this value. So an integer variable, say result is equal to adding, and then I echo the result. In this case, I'm going to give 15 and 8 as the argument and return, and it will add those two numbers and return the value, and I should get, let's say I'm going to give 55 and 8. Okay. So 163 will be returned and it will be printed here. Or else we can straight away use the echo and print the values. Let's say echo adding. Another two values. Okay. And straight away, whatever the value it is returning, I will print it. Okay. 2274. I did not use the one here. So the two numbers will be coming this way. These dot operator. Okay. So these are two ways of getting the return value from a function. Okay. Can you copy that down as well? Alright. Okay. So the return statement will be the last statement that we use because the statements that are after the return statement will not be executed after you return the value, right? So just make a note of that, saying return statement should be the last statement. Okay. Okay. Next one about this return statement. That there can be many return statements inside the function. Okay, now let's say I will get the total as use an if condition. If the total is greater than 1000, you return Now there are three return statements that I have used. Let me straight away use the code. Yeah. Okay. Get all three types of outputs here. Say value is too high, value is too low, value is okay, value is okay. So we can return a value. We can have multiple return statements in a function depending on the condition here. Okay, we can have multiple return statements depending on the condition. So usually return statement I told you will be the last statement, but we can have it in between. But that should be the last one inside that scope. Okay, so this is the last value that we have. After this, anyway, it is not going to go to this area, right? So this is another way of returning value, multiple return statements, and one of that will be return. Can you write that down as well? Next thing that we can see is now the feature about this, what do you call, returning is a return statement can return only one value. Okay, a return statement can return only one value. Now see, here it's returning one string. Here it's returning one string. Earlier it returned only the total. Okay. So if I try to return two values now, let's say, I will call this calculation. Okay. Call this addition. Subtraction is minus none. Okay. Now if I say return addition and return subtraction. What would be my result here? Can anyone tell me what I will get? Will I get the addition or the subtraction?
It'll just show, sir.
Huh?
It'll just show 18 and 5.
You won't get any addition or subtraction here.
No.
You'll get addition, sir.
You get the addition. Yes, I told you
Because only the first
statement in
return statement.
return statement will not be executed. So here it will give me the addition of 10 and 5, but subtraction it will not show. Okay, so only one return statement we can give. But if I want to return two values, if I want to return two values, I can do something like this. I can create a new variable here, say result, and I'm going to create an array, and I'm going to put this addition value and the subtraction value inside this array, and after that I will return the array. Now I'm returning both the statements as an array. So when I'm echoing this, when I'm using this statement, it's going to return me an array. So I can't use this statement. What I will do is I will say I will have another array here. I will call it the result array. I will have another array here to accept whatever the array it is sending. So I will call the calculation. I will send the value 10 and 15, 10 and 5. It is going to return to me.
So your
Yeah.
return statement result L is in front.
Oh my God. It is a totally different meaning, right? Okay. So this is going to give an array, and this is going to accept this array. Now when I'm going to print this, I can say result array index 0. I can even say addition is result array index 0. I can always call this subtraction. I put a copy of that here. Result index 1. So when I call this, both values are getting returned, and I can use an array to output them. Understand? More than one value if you are trying to return. This is what you can do. Can you copy that down as well? Okay. So these are different things about return statement. Fine. The next what we are going to look at is something called a global and local variable declaration, right? So let me have a function, call it test, and I'm going to have a variable inside this, a string variable. Thank you. I just call it st. And I'll say this is inside. Okay. Whereas I'm going to have the same variable type st, which is going to be declared outside. Okay, so there is one st inside, there is another st outside. If I try to print st, what will be getting, inside or outside? If I just try to print,
Outside, sir.
we'll be getting outside.
Outside.
So which means, oh, see this. Yeah, I'm getting the variable as outside, right? So what happens there is the value, the global variable, okay? When you declare it outside, this is called a global variable, which means I can access it from anywhere. But this one is local. Okay, this one is local. Local variable, which I cannot access. So I can only access it within this function scope. This is the scope. Within this function scope, I can access it, right? So in this global variable, when I want to change this st value, this is inside or this is outside, I want to change it to inside. Okay, what I do is I will come here and say use the word global. Global st. Okay, when I say global st, what it does is this function will use this st or the global st that we have declared here inside this function. So the original value is only going to be changed. And this time when I run this, it should give me inside. Set that up to inside. Why is it not done? Ah, this is a test, right? I have to first call it. Call the test function. I will first do it without this. Okay. I will say I will call the test function. So the test function will be called and st will be assigned the value inside, but still only outside is going to get printed. Right? Okay. Now I will call the test function. In the test function, I'm going to say grab this global variable st and give the original global value the value inside. Now when I print st from outside the scope, the original global value has changed to inside. Okay. So what has happened is when I use the global statement, when there are two variables like this, the original global variable only will be changed. Earlier, because of the scope, only the value that was inside was affected. Now the outside one has been taken as a reference and changed. It means it is going to change the value of the original variable. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you copy that down as well using the global statement? We created forms using HTML tags in the previous sessions. Okay. And I told you when we are creating these forms, for each form there's a name that we give. And I told you that when we are doing PHP, we will see the use of giving names to these, what do you call, the structures, the input values or output values. We are giving names to be used with PHP, right? So in the next class, today we don't have time to do all those things. So I think it will be better if we can start off early tomorrow at 8 and go on with the forms, how we can uh, apply PHP to forms. So now here we were able to give the values, say 10, 15 and those values. I was writing it in the code itself. I never took it as an input because in PHP alone, there is no way of taking an input from the user. You can't type in the browser unless and otherwise there is a form or there is a text field where you can get an input, right? So you, when you get the input from the text field and you use that input to output something from the web page, that is where PHP and the HTML forms come together, right? So tomorrow we will be talking about how this PHP and the forms that we created earlier are going to be linked together by using the names that we have given to these what do you call, the structures in the form. Okay, so that we can get an input from the user, and according to that input, the output will change. Right? So we will do some basic stuff that is needed in form. And we have done so many input values like buttons are there, we have text fields, password fields, so many things are there. And after that, after we know how we can collaborate the PHP with the forms, we are then going to connect to the database and output values according to the input by connecting to a table in the database and retrieving values from that database. Right? So we will go step by step. Right? Most probably we can go with the database by next Tuesday night class. Right? So tomorrow we will talk about how forms can be collaborated with the PHP code and how we can give input values and get outputs according to the user input. Right? So for today we shall wind up the session. Thank you very much for coming. Tomorrow morning 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
God bless you.
Bye,
God
sir.
bless you,
Thank you.
sir.